Is there a benefit to being nice? Absolutely. Hello, and today's insight is going to be about being civil, right? Or being very, in Armenian we say martamod, which would be um, not necessarily talkative, but being able to interact with others, being nice, right? Being amiable, being interactive, if you will. So there are definite benefits to it. One of which that I particularly like is when I see someone else smile because of a compliment I just gave them, or if I see someone smile because I opened the door for them, or I did something. It just brightens up my day. It also spreads some joy, and I love doing that, especially when someone seems like they're down in the dumps or down on themselves. I like to pick them up. Of course, now there is something to be said for being attentive to who you do this to, because some people might come back and bite you in the ass and never leave. Or not never leave, but try to like milk you for your, not necessarily milk you, but try to attach to you and take your goodness from you. Instead of it being something you willingly give, they want to do it so that you feel obliged to do it, like you need to, like they are like they aren't capable of achieving their own happiness by themselves, so they put it on to you. And I find that kind of sad. Now, I have a mentee that at some point she was asking me questions all the time because my intuition's on point, and she wanted me to check for her. And at some point I'm like, listen, I'm gonna have to start charging you if you ask me one more time, because I've told you how to do this and you haven't even tried. She's like, no, I've tried, but it doesn't work for me. I'm like, no. You should try harder. You should try to understand how your intuition works so that you can become independent by yourself, right? But like I need to also understand that not everybody is ready to go down that route. Maybe some of them can't necessarily awaken that side to them, and it is fine. But there are other ways of checking. Got hair in my mouth, right? There are other ways of checking. Okay, so you can either use muscle testing, which is what I suggested to her, but she was like, "No, it doesn't work for me." Now, something else, another way you can use a pendulum. Same principle, except you don't have to listen to the pendulum. Well, except it's easier to see because there's actual factual swinging. Now, of course, sometimes it swings less, sometimes it's more imperceivable, the distinction, but there are ways to go about the fact that you don't feel like you can tap into your intuition. There are 1,001 ways. I have yet to find them, but there is a way. Where there is a will, there is a way. There's also something to be said that when I started, this was very, very slight and very imperceivable. So I needed to pay such attention and be so, I should say, be so open to hearing the answer that it took a bit of time. It's not something that happened overnight. It took working. It took trial and error. It's not something that's going to come in and plop down on your lap. It's something that you need to try at. Even so, like, I understand that I sound like I have a lot on, like, everything together, and that I know everything, and that I was born this way. I was not born this way. I learned this. I practiced this, and that is why it has now become second nature, because and that it looks like magic, because I've done it so often, and I've used my intuition, and I've practiced muscle testing, and I've practiced listening to my intuition, and I've practiced this, and I've worked on it, and I've honed it, and I've gotten so used to it that now I can tap into it like this. But if you just started, so I can say that it took me about 4 to 5 years of on and off trying. Okay, so if I did it in that time, you can do it too. It's not rocket science, it's just practice. Perfect practice makes perfect. You need to work at it. It's like any new habit you want to take on, any new skill, any new way of doing that you want to take on, that you want it to become second nature, which is what I can say about my father. My father, okay, is a closer. He is that's a style of selling, but now it looks like he can walk through any closing call with ease. But that's because he's practiced. He's practiced for about 3 to 4 years. This man has worked diligently on his craft, okay? And that is why he looks like magic when he's closing, when he's talking in front of people, when he is interacting with others. It looks like magic because he made it into magic. And it is not complicated. We actually talk about a similar topic, he and I. We talk about, making something into a habit, which is you start knowing that you don't know. You start not knowing that you don't know anything about it. Then you move on to knowing that you know nothing about it. Then you move up to consciously trying to learn something about it. And then you go on to unconsciously knowing something about it, which is where what you've learned has gone into your memory bank. It's become second nature, and you don't have to think about it anymore because it is ingrained within you. So if you want anything in your life to change, you have to change things in your life. Things have to become a part of you. They have to become ingrained within you. They need to be a second nature for it to become like magic. What I do has not come overnight. What I do has come over practice and trial and error and always trying to do better. Constantly. You can get to where I am. You just need to put in the practice. That's it. So, is there something you can practice that will allow you to get to the other side of mastery? Let me know.